guys, this is Bobby with Bobby Stamps, and I have a super cute card I'm going to share with you guys today. I absolutely love how this card turned out. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's a grungy, I'm calling it a timeless tropical, let me see what I wrote the name down, chic card, because I do think it kind of looks chic, but I love the color combination and I just love how this card turned out. So let's quit talking and I'll get started really quick. My card base, I am using Highland Heather, so I'm just gonna score that really quick and I'm just gonna lay that off to the side. We're not gonna need it for a little bit. This piece of Whisper White is a 4 1/4 by 5. Let me make sure I'm telling you that right. I am pretty sure it is. Yes, it's 4 1/4 by 5, or 4 by 5 1/4. Oh my gosh. You guys just would not even believe the day I've had so far today. I'm using the Timeless Tropical stamp set. I'm using the leaf. So that is how I made all of these flowers. Right here is just that leaf. I'm using the Stitched So Sweetly dies. That's where we're going to get our sentiment. And then the waterfront stamp set is, I'm going to use this little image right here for the background. I'm going to be using the Champagne Rhinestones. You could change that, though I do believe those are on back order right now. And I am also using the Whisper White Crinkled Seam Binding Ribbon. And then you're going to need a sponge, and I'm using Highland Heather ink, and another sponge and Coastal Cabana, another sponge for Blushing Bride, and then I'm also using Sahara Sand and another sponge for that one. You're going to need white embossing powder, and then of course you're going to need your heat tool. And then I'm also using the little flowers from that same stamp set, the Timeless texture. I went ahead and pre-cut and did all of the leaves that we're going to need. You're going to need 5 of each one of the colors. So on the Blushing Bride, I only did 4. So I will do that one on camera with you guys just so you can see the process of how I did it. So the first thing I did, I'm going to get my little placemat a little bit messy. I might have to switch that out. But I'm going to go ahead and let me get these out of the way just so I don't have to worry about getting them a mess or anything. And get my inks opened. And I have the little tag, that's how I made my little grips for my ink pads. So that way I can keep them right on there and know which one I'm using when I'm using it. Okay, so the first color I started out with is Blushing Bride. And I'm just picking up a lot of ink on my sponge. And then I'm going to start off to the side and then go in and just swirl it around. And I'm just going to try to do it kind of even with the colors. And then the next one is going to be the Highland Heather. I'm just going to scoot that one out, move that one over. So I'm just going to get some, let me slide down a little bit so you guys can see. So I'm just inking up that sponge, and again I'm going to start to the side and then slowly work my way across the page. And I am going above into that Blushing Bride color just a little bit. And then again, start off to the side. If you start directly on your paper, you're going to get the marks from the sponge, and it's just not that nice of a look. Let me slide that one out of the way. And then this one is our Coastal Cabana. Same thing, just start off to the side. And then you just keep doing this, layering it, adding ink. And then you can churn it so that way you're not always going in on the same side. I do that a lot. When I'm doing this kind of technique, I'm constantly moving the paper. And you can do this and just keep going and making it as light or as dark as what you want. So I'm just going back in with the Highland Heather. And then I'm going to go in again with the Blushing Bride. Okay, and I'm kind of happy with the way that that is. I think I might do a little bit Coastal Cabana more on the bottom. And then I'm going right up into that Highland Heather to blend those colors together. Okay, now let's just kind of scoot these out of the way. And then the next thing that I'm going to do, forgot to mention at the beginning, is I'm using the Pattern Party Decorative Masks. And I'm using this one. And I'm just going to put it on my paper, kind of at an angle, and I am going to make sure that I can tape it down all the way around because I don't want this to move on me. So I'm just going to tape it there, there. Just all four sides I'm going to put a little bit of tape on. Okay? And this is just old washi tape I got at Dollar General probably, or Dollar Tree, one of those places. I'm going to go in with my Sahara sand, and I'm just going to pick up some of that ink on my sponge and just go, just kind of like in a random pattern. And then I'm going to pick up a little bit more. And the fun thing about this is you don't know what you're getting until you're done. And I don't want that to be too dark, so I'm not gonna do a lot. So let's just take this off. And that is perfect what I wanted there. Okay, move this out of the way. I'll clean that up later. Then I'm gonna take from the Waterfront stamp set, and I'm going to take the Blushing Bride, and I'm gonna stamp right on top of that with the Blushing Bride. This is just adding a little bit more more elements to it, I guess. And let me clean off my stamp. Let me grab my chamois, and I'm just going to clean that off and stamp it a couple of times. I just want to make sure it's dry in between. So then I'm going to go in with the Highland Heather and do the same thing, just right there where that Highland Heather is. Clean that off. Move the Highland Heather back and grab the Coastal Cabana. And same thing, we're just going to stamp that down here. Okay. Then I'm going to take my scissors, and I am going to do this. I'm going to pause the video when I start because this kind of makes a mess and I don't want to get it everywhere. But I'm just going to, and you got to be very careful if you guys do this, but I'm just going to take my scissors and go around the edge, all four corners, and rough up the edge to distress it a little bit. But the paper fibers fly everywhere and I have my ink open and I don't want to do that on camera. And like I said, be very, very careful if you try this. I'm not recommending you do this at home at all. I will be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. So as you can see, I went all the way around and I have that distressed. Now I'm going to take the Sahara sand and I'm just going to go around and darken those up because we don't want that stark white to be so bold on the card. This just kind of helps tone that down a little bit. And if you don't like this look, you can still make this card and not distress it around the edges like I just did. Okay, then I'm also going to take a little bit of the Sahara sand, not a lot, and I'm going to go in and just slightly around my edges, just a little bit, not a lot at all. I'm just gonna slightly go in and darken just a little bit, just around the perimeter. Okay, now I'm gonna put that to the side. I went ahead and did all of my leaves that I've previously popped out off camera as well, just to try to save time. So then the next thing that I want to do with this, I'm gonna grab my silicone mat and lay that there. And then I'm going to take my aqua painter and I'm just going to make sure that I have water in the barrel like that, and then I'm just gonna flick it different places on my card. I just want a few water spots. That kind of was a lot in one place, but I just want a few. Okay, I'm gonna put that to the side and let it dry while we do the rest of the card. So I'm gonna show you how to make the leaves. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take the leaf from the Timeless Tropical Bundle, and you're gonna need Versamark ink. You're just gonna ink that up in Versamark, stamp it down. Take your white embossing powder, and you need 5 for each color that you want to do. In case I didn't mention that before. Put your powder on, and I always like to do 2 or 3 just to make sure I get it, and then flick it on the back. I get my little containers and the little spoons at Dollar Tree, and then we're just going to turn on the heat tool and just set that embossing powder. And then you can see now it's starting to melt. You have to be really careful with your heat tool because it does get extremely hot. You don't want to burn your fingers. Okay, and I'm going to put that right there. Now I am going to bring my card back in, and I'm just going to dry that ink, that water spots just a little bit. That one's kind of big, and you can dry it from the back side as well. Kind of shows you where the water spots are, where they landed. So you kind of know better where to aim your heat tool. Okay, that should be good enough just for me to show you guys the process. Okay, let's move that out of the way, that out of the way, and then I'm going to bring in, close up my chamois. Let me bring in the Big Shot. And then we're just going to die cut out the leaf that I just stamped. So you're just going to place your die there. I am going to use a little bit of washi tape just because I want to make sure that it doesn't move, because at the same time I'm going to do that, I'm going to go ahead and place my stitched label dies on there for the sentiment that we're going to be doing here in a minute. And then let me see, what do I need next? I need the pink one. And then we also need the center of the flower. And so we're going to use, I need to pop, looks like I left the little ones in there from before. So I'm going to put that on Coastal Cabana. That's just the flower from that same Timeless Tropical Bundle. And then when you have everything placed, we'll just run it through the Big Shot. Okay. Now let's just take all of these off of here. And I'll move the Big Shot out of the way. Okay, so just want to make sure I'm not throwing anything away that I'm going to need later. I'm putting everything I need, hopefully right here at my fingertips. Trying to keep my dies in one spot so I don't have to worry that I throw them away either. Okay, so that was the flowers. Let's just move that out of the way. And then we can take, we want to ink around all of these because we want everything to kind of coordinate together and look the same. So I'm just going to slightly sponge around these. And I'm also going to gently do these flowers. That's going to go right in the middle. These aren't going to be that visible, so this, if you didn't want to get your fingers all inky, you really wouldn't have to, because this is such tiny little pieces that we're working with. But I like everything to match, so I'm going to go ahead and do my leaf. And that's all you have to do is just pick up a little bit of ink on your sponge and go all the way around. Okay, now I'm going to move this stuff out of the way for right now. I cut a piece of Coastal Cabana using my 1-inch circle punch, and I'm just going to put all my flowers in the same pile, the same color, so it's going to be easier to work with. When I first did this, I took my bone folder, you can see on this one, I think it was, and I really arched them and put a bow in them, but the flowers stuck up really big. And you could do it that way, but I didn't like the look and it would be very hard to mail. So I just flattened it, just took my hand and flattened it. So what I did was I just placed one on the circle, let that Tombow take effect. You can flip all of these over if you want, so that way you have it easier, just a little bit, and then just kind of space them out. And there is no rhyme or reason. I'm going to turn that one just a little bit of how I did that, how I did my placement. I just kind of put them on there, and it kind of worked out the spacing that I did. That one kind of moved. It's all going to be covered anyway, so it doesn't really matter, like if this is not perfectly centered. So just kind of something like that. Then you're going to do the same thing. We're going to start, our bottom flower is going to be the Coastal Cabana. You can do it either way. This is just the way I followed the same pattern as the ink as I went down my card. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on each one of these to speed this up. And then I'm just going to place these now to fill in the gaps in between the Coastal Cabana ones. So just kind of walking around, just placing those right in between our Coastal Cabana ones, okay? Just let that take hold. I'm kind of moving quick. I'm afraid they're going to start moving on me because I'm moving so quickly. I'm trying to hold them pretty steady with my finger. So I'm just going to put a drop of Tombow on the back of each one of these. And then again, I'm just going to randomly select and kind of go in between, because you want a little bit of all the colors sticking out. And if you wanted to, you could get away with doing, so I'm going to scoot that one just over a little bit. You could get away with doing, you know, just 2 layers if you don't want to use all 3. It's really up to you. And then I'm just going to put that one right there. The center's going to be covered, so we don't have to worry about that. I have glue on my thumb, so it's trying to pull those back up. So the center, like I said, is going to be covered, so you don't have to worry about what that looks like. So let's go ahead and grab this flower. Now I don't care that the middle pieces stay in or if they fall out. It really does not matter to me at all. I'm going to grab this silicone mat to put on top of there because I don't want to get glue. So I'm just going to take the 2 bigger ones and I'm going to place a little bit of glue right in the center. And then you want to offset the flower so you're getting, let me see. So you're getting those filled in like we just did the other flower, just like that. And you just turn it until you get it to where you want it. Then I'm going to put a little tiny dot right there and do the same thing. Just put this right in the center. And you're going to put a little, one of those little jewels in there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to let that dry. But then I'm going to go back in and do the little push down thing so that way it will be a little bit prettier. Okay, so let's go ahead and stamp the sentiment in Highland Heather, and you're going to stamp it on the pink, the Blushing Bride. We're going to put a little bit of Tombow on the back of this Coastal Cabana piece. And just put it right in the center of this label. And then I did pop this piece up with 2 dimensionals just right there in the center. You could use the mini dimensionals if you choose, but I did want this popped up just a little bit. And then just put that right in the center. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab that mat. I'm just going to put this down. Whoops. And then I'm just going to take my stylist and just, you could use the aqua painter, whatever you have on hand. I'm just going to smush that down to get those flowers to pop up a little bit better. I'm going to take a little bit of Tombow, place it right on the back, and then I'm just going to put that right there in the center. And you do kind of have to push down a little bit to get your Tombow to take a hold. Just make sure you have it in the center. I'm just going to hold it there just for a few minutes. Okay, while we're waiting for that to dry a little bit better, let's grab the Whisper White, and I'm just going to bring that around, and I want it to tie on the right side. So I'm just going to kind of do it like that, and then I'm just going to make a bow. That glue on my thumb is making everything stick to it. Nope, wrong one. Hold on a minute, let me try that again. I do not have this much trouble making bows when it's just me. It's always when I'm recording that they never want to turn out for me. And let's just snip that off. And then you can kind of fuss with it now. I'm going to trim these up a little bit. And I'm going to make the bow, I think, just a little bit smaller. Not much, but just a smidge. Okay, now I'm not going to cut those because I do kind of want to see what my flower's going to look like. I'm going to straighten that up, though, a little bit. And I kind of wanted it down towards, there we go, something like that. So our flower is going to be placed right here. I do kind of like that longer bow. We'll see how it looks before I put it down. I tied that wrong. Daggone it. I want to keep my pink at the top, so I'm just going to take that ribbon and slide it right down over there. That was an easy fix. So I want to keep the pink, the purple, and then the Coastal Cabana. Okay, and that is not glued down yet, so I want to be careful. I could just feel it move. So our flower is going to go there. I'm going to slide my ribbon just a smidge more over. And then our sentiment is going to go here. So let's see the placement, how that looks. Okay, I think everything looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and make my decision to put everything on there permanently. So I'm just going to put a couple dimensionals on the back of the sentiment. And then I'm just going to place it right there. Now, if you want to go in with your aqua painter, because like that big water spot, which I'm glad that that got covered up, I didn't like that big one, but you can see a few of the small ones here and here. So if you wanted to go up here and you know, really put another one in there, you could. That's totally fine. So I'm going to take Stampin' Dimensionals and just randomly place on the back of the Coastal Cabana ones. Oops, that one got two. And then I'm going to put one right in the middle too. Okay, and then just push those down. Make sure they're not going to show past your leaves. I love making cards like this once in a while, just stepping out of your comfort zone of the normal cards that you normally make and changing it up and doing something a little bit different. Okay, and then that's on there, and then let's grab our card base, and I'm going to put some Tombow on the back. Okay, Make sure you have it in the right orientation. Don't let your ribbon go to the back and get that glue on there. Just layer it on the front, just like so. And it'll take it just a few minutes to dry. So just make sure you're going all the way around. Then let's grab one of these rhinestones. I can never find the opening on these things. And I used the second to the largest rhinestone, and then I just popped it right there in the center. You could use one of the pearls. I think one of the pearls would look really pretty on here too because of the white ribbon, but I just wanted to use those. I thought they kind of blended in with the Sahara sand. I like my ribbon like that, just a little bit longer. I'm going to see if there we go. So let's kind of turn that and bring that down. And you can always trim those if you guys don't like them that long. But I absolutely love how both of these cards turned out. I hope that you guys like it. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and thanks guys.